How you doing? Hi, Gypsy. Here we go. We are live stream. We are here. All right. It is September 14th, and we are on a Tuesday. So really excited to be with everyone here. Sammy, hi, good to see you. Hi, Randall. Hi, Gypsy. Hi, Justin. Hi, Amber and Eddie. And Lisa's here, and Chris and Missy. Hi, Missy. Hi, Patricia. Let's see who else is here. Vicky is joining us in the wee hours of the morning. Great. And Rose and Rosa and Gaza are here also in the wee hours of the morning. Good to see you here. Harriet, welcome. And Anne, fantastic. Michael, hi, Mark. Great to see everyone here. We have a couple of pages of all the attendees, so I can't get through all the names, but really excited to be here with everyone. And it's a very exciting time, you know, in our system, in the skies right now. For those who follow the planetary alignments and the calendar of the moon or whatever you're into, we're not going to dive into that today, but just kind of want to throw that out there. And particularly, it's a great time for introspection. And so, you know, if I'm choosing one word for our discussion today, it's really a great time to reprogram or repattern. And so let me explain, and I'll start with a personal share. So recently I was out on the lake. Here in Austin, we have, you know, right at downtown, you have the Colorado River runs through that, and call it Lady Bird Lake. They kind of tunneled it and made it really, really pretty. And there's greenery on all sides, and downtown on one side and $1 million houses on the other side. So it's really, really pretty. And I love to go to do stand-up paddleboard. And so recently I was out there on the lake with a friend, and we were talking in the middle there about which way she chooses. So when you get on the dock, you can either go left, which is towards downtown and you see all the buildings, or you can go right and you go to see all those multi-million-dollar houses, and it's green and it's lush and it's beautiful. And you're usually more alone, not so crowded with so many people around. So, you know, I said, I always go left. And she said, well, I sometimes go right and sometimes go left. And so I started thinking why I go left. And I realized that it was because of an incident that happened one time when I was out on the lake. It was very, very windy, and I was trying to get back, and, you know, it was almost impossible. For every 10 strokes, you're moving one. You know, it was like, and it was late at night, you know, sun was already down. And so all the things, right? And so I realized that pattern got ingrained in my mind. So as I get on the dock, I'm not even thinking, hey, do I want to be, you know, more in solitude? Do I want to see that greenery? Do I want to experience that lush green, or do I want to go, you know, downtown where I always go? I don't make that choice. I just go as a pattern downtown, and that's where I head. And I thought that was super interesting, because I realized that we have these opportunities in our lives. Well, before I get there, this last weekend, I went out on the lake to do the stand-up paddleboarding. And when I got to the dock, I chose right instead of left. And it was gorgeous. You know, it was paradise. It was just magical. And usually I'm paddling to try to, you know, get to certain destinations, because as you go more, you know exactly where you're going and the miles and all that. And this time it wasn't about that. It was just about, you know, relaxing and seeing all of that and just enjoying the time and really resetting my energy and just allowing myself to absorb everything that the nature had to give me. And but when I saw that, when I was able to see that pattern in me, that kind of space where it wasn't about making a conscious decision. I didn't stand on the dock and say, oh, do I feel like this or do I feel like that? I just, you know, routinely went left, because that was what was ingrained. That's safe, you know. And that day when I chose right, there was no wind, you know, it was super, you know, there wasn't even no current. It was all really, really relaxed and beautiful. And so why wouldn't I go right if that's what I want to do? And then I realized that we do this many times. So, you know, how many times are we stuck on a certain pattern? Like, you walk into your house, what is the thought that comes into your mind? Is that like an automatic thing that you don't think about? Or when you walk into your kitchen, that one's always a trigger for me, right? You walk into the kitchen, you know, what thought comes up into your mind? Is it just a pattern? Is it just like, you know, something that's on routine, like a loop, like an old record? That's a good example. Pardon me. like an old record just kind of playing in the background that's just meddling with your thoughts and up there when you go to see the laundry, or if we bring it back to our business, when you sit in front of your computer, is there a pattern, a thought that comes up on loop and just kind of triggers you right off the bat, right? Is there some kind of a CD or maybe old cassette playing in your mind, right? And just kind of looping it on repeat that really doesn't serve where you are today, right? Because when I think about my experience, it didn't serve that day. That day was a beautiful day. I could make any choice that I want. I wasn't in any danger. It definitely was not late in the evening. It was early. And so we need to acknowledge, especially during this time right now, what kind of patterns are we stuck in or stuck on, right? If we make this conscious decision that we're headed in a specific direction. Right now it's fourth quarter. Okay. Right now it's fourth quarter. So we're in the direction of collecting money right now. That's what it's about. And we have to make sure that these tunes, these repetitious patterns or habits are actually leading us towards that collecting all the money, the abundance. That reminds me, recently, a very good friend of mine advised me to choose a word that represents this year. And of course, you can choose a couple of words if you want to. And then you let those words be your guide or your compass. And, oh yeah, thanks, John. And I made a mental note to make sure that I noticed that to begin with, but here we are. All right, back on track. So we're choosing a word for the year. Okay. And then you let that word guide you. So it's like your compass, and it's like, we talk a lot about goal setting, but maybe you really choose, let's say abundance. Let's say this year you chose abundance. That's what you're creating. And then when you're in these positions, in these moments in your life where you notice this old record playing in the background, you ask yourself, okay, is this leading me towards abundance? Is this leading me to what I want to accomplish this year? And if not, then we choose a different file. We want to upload a new system. We don't want to just be running on this old program, right? Habits are great to form if they serve a purpose, when they're leading you in the direction of your evolution or towards what you're trying to create in your life now. If we chose abundance, let's put abundance on that line. So habits are great if they're leading us towards abundance. But if they're steering us in the opposite direction, then they're doing us a disservice. And I'll give you an example, right? So if you're walking, let's say you're in this exotic place and you're walking out of wherever you're staying, and you see the ocean. You see the ocean and it's beautiful, and you see all the colors, and you can even see the sand, and you're right about to reach the ocean. You're almost there. And then someone comes up and taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, you know what? I know a shortcut to the ocean. Let me take you there. So, follow me. And they turn around, they go in the opposite direction, and they start walking. And so the question is, are you going to follow? Are you going to follow them to the opposite direction because they told you they know a shortcut or whatever? Or are you going to say, wait, I can see the ocean. I see it right here. This is where I'm headed. I know where I'm going. This is where I'm walking towards, and I'm going to stay the path. I'm going to stay the course. It's the same thing with these types of thoughts or habits or patterns that we get, wrapped into, and then so easily distracted from what it is that we're trying to create. But if we stay present and focused on what we are here to create, which is, we chose abundance, or, thousands of mugs, whatever you put, what's leading you, what's steering you, then we're masters of our own domain. Right? It's kind of like if you think about the Matrix movie, right? They just made a new one. And when we're in that zone, we can dodge those bullets, and really we're able to look at things in slow motion almost. And then we're not pulled too much in one direction, or really knocked off of our balance point, our focus point, that compass that's leading us. And, it's interesting, if we're talking about movies, if you've noticed now, they're really rewriting all these fairy tales now. I don't know if you've noticed. I have little kids, so I noticed. Disney's been at it for a while, right? So they did, Brave, Moana, Frozen. And so now they just redid Cinderella. I don't know if you caught that one. But this one is all about, pardon me, it's all about this strong and confident woman. And so she's not waiting for a prince to save her. Okay. She's like, taking life by, I'm not going to, if you haven't seen it, I won't give you all of the little things, but they completely changed it up, completely. So what they're doing here is not important, the idea from the process of the movie, but they're rewriting the role of the female heroine. And so what they're doing is they're rewriting these patterns that have been embedded in society. And that's big. That's big. These are ancestral patterns that just get stuck in our mind, in our tissue, in our behaviors. And the beautiful thing is that we can reprogram. We can rewrite our story. We can compose a different melody to the one that has been playing in our minds for years. We can choose something that aligns with our purpose. And when you are actually actively choosing, wow, you find that middle point. You find that place. You're like, oh, okay, 1 second. This is leading me away from my ocean. This is leading me away from my abundance. This is leading me away from where I'm headed. So I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to take a different course of action. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes courage. It takes discipline or self-discipline, and it takes mindfulness. So we have to be able to see it first. We have to hold ourselves accountable. At least has seen the movie, right? It's just interesting to see how they're rewriting these stories, I think at least, And so, okay, back on point. When we hold ourselves accountable for the thoughts that are in my mind, for these choices, these patterns that are coming up, when we have the will, that's a big one. We have the will to change, the will to transform. That's true growth. And so, are you ready to flip over the record, or, just throw out all the old cassettes and get a Spotify account, or Apple Music, whatever you listen to, right? We've evolved so much from those old cassettes or DAT players or MP3s or whatever it was that was, a while back. And even that, sometimes these patterns, they're not even our own, right? They belong to our parents or something that we've heard, or a sibling, or something we heard on the news. That's a big one. And so these thoughts, their energy, they become patterns, they're habits that just kind of swirl around in your mind, unless you actively make that choice. So, what frequency are you tuning into? If we chose abundance, that's the frequency. And then what thoughts are in our mind that are leading us there? There's a beautiful line from T. Harv Eker. He says, no thoughts live in your mind rent-free. They don't. They're always going to attract the same. So like attracts like, right? And so what kind of melodies are you creating for yourself now? And I think that's such an exciting thought, because we don't have to listen to the same tune on repeat, except for if it's serving our purpose. Another example, a good one, I think we could all relate to, when you pick up your phone, what's the first thing that you do? Is there a specific app that you get to, like right as you pick up the phone without thinking about it? Boom, you go to a certain app and it's like, you're just kind of blind into it. You're not even thinking about it. So now you can choose it. You can choose, okay, I like this pattern. I'm going to stay with it. It's good. I'm opening my Etsy account. I'm looking to see if I have some sales. Great. Fantastic. Or, I go on YouTube and I get lost in videos for hours, and that's definitely not serving my purpose. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put YouTube on my first little thing of apps. I'm going to put it in the back and choose something else. We have that experience sometimes when we're getting into a car, right? It's not a great one, but sometimes we can just drive on autopilot and we're going one place and we land in a completely different place. Another great example to relate to are children. If those of you that interact with children, your own or others, they can get stuck in these patterns. They'll choose a certain food that they don't like, or they'll choose, just a certain routine that they don't like. They don't want to wash their hair. They don't want to put these shoes on, or they don't want to whatever. And they just get stuck in it. There's no good reason for it. There's no logic. They didn't taste it. It's a new day. Why not wear this? Why not do that? But they just get on that repetitious pattern of just repeating. And if we're skillful, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we can easily distract them or convince them, or, get them to try something or get them to do it differently. And then suddenly it's a whole new world, right? If it was a different food, then they tasted it and wow, now they love it, and now they're eating it forever and it's their favorite thing in the world. That's the same for us. When we unlock this new, or when we kind of reprogram our mind, then we unlock a whole new opportunity, different realms of being. And that's exciting. And so, my questions are, what are you creating now, today in this month? That message has to be clear. It has to, ring like a bell or create a harmony. What ideas are not serving you at all right now? Another great book, I can put it in the chat in just a moment, that I came across that talks about how the brain works. It's called Hardwiring Happiness, and it's by Dr. Rick Hanson. And I like it because he talks about the science of how the brain works. I like that kind of thing. And so he shares that he's observed how in different groups of people, these different patterns or habits have physically changed their brain, right? It's like, wow. And he talks about, and I like this. He talks about you can have a happy amygdala. Amygdala is the part of the brain that is responsible for your emotional response, okay? Or you could have a sad one. And that's basically our choice. And so it's never too late to reprogram or to change. And it's really just having compassion for ourselves in this process that's crucial. And it's consistency that's the key. John talks about that all the time. And he recommends these wonderful books. And I agree completely. Consistency is 100% key. And so there's really no limit to the amount of happiness that somebody can experience, or the amount of abundance that you can create for yourself, whatever you've listed as your guidance, as your goal. And even if we're speaking about happiness, when you feel happy for others, you're actually multiplying the happiness that you feel in you. And so then you're creating this chain reaction. We can reference how much just one little smile can reshape someone's whole world, whole day. And I think that's what we stand for here in the LHS. We're not about competition. We're about coming together, working together, uplifting each other together. I was just talking about that with a student yesterday on a call. And it's really celebrating the wins together. It's celebrating our growth. And I think that's beautiful. That's transformation. That's different than what it was, 40, 50 years ago. It's different. And so, okay, let's hear from you all now here. I want to, anything you want to share, but if you want to share what kind of patterns you've observed that don't serve you anymore, or how you're shifting that, or maybe the words that you choose for this year and what you're creating for yourself, anything that landed with you and that you want to share with the group, I'd love to hear from you. Let's see. Do I have any hands up? Let's see. Here we go. Yes, Michael. Thank you. Always love to hear from you. Yeah. There we go.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'll turn off my fan here because it's cooling my computer. I had a real challenge with Amazon. The integration is just not working. So Adam and I were working on different things. And the process was, and I was talking to John about this as well, I could have got wrapped up in I can't, it's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? That'll just drive me crazy. So instead, I pivoted, and I think that's, I forget Cynthia's word, or one of the ladies' names, a pivot. So I redirected my energy towards getting other things done and focus on things like Etsy and Gear Bubble, to get those ads up and running so that they would be keyword friendly and keyword rich and all that kind of stuff. And we had a great seminar with Helen and Heather about how to do all these kind of things. So it just blew my mind. So it was really good to be able to refocus and to put positive energy and look at the situation as it's going to happen. And so then the reason I went offline a little bit was Amazon just called me. And they said, yep, everything's now up and running. It's all good. And I said, well, I'm a little nervous, but he said, you know what? You're going to do fine. And I know just by talking with you that you're going to be successful doing this. I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted to hear. That's for sure. So it's really good to, again, understand eventualities will take place. That's how we deal with them on a positive scale. But okay, that's a speed bump. Now we're going to go do something else while the tires get repaired or something like that. And this is one of the situations where, yeah, it's taken about a month. However, it's done now, and I guess Adam can do his magic, so things will be back on track. And in the meantime, I learned a heck of a lot more on Etsy. I mean, I spent almost an entire day yesterday reviewing what Etsy does, how to do this for different speakers, and it was just amazing. So, yeah. So again, just changing that mindset, changing that direction to still move forward. And sometimes you have to move sideways to move forward.
Right. We do that a lot, actually. Up, go side to side first, and then that'll get you.
Yep, absolutely.
I want to acknowledge that you shared a couple of very important things. First of all, you have the ability here. Let's backtrack even more. Your journey with Amazon is one that we've heard, we've all witnessed. We've witnessed the frustration, we've witnessed the thought patterns, and we've witnessed what you're going through. And you being able to shift that first in your mind, but also, of course, you've enlisted the help of an experienced coach, and that's profound, because that's something that we do offer as part of the program. And if you've heard about it, great. If you haven't heard about it, you will. And it's Launch 100, and that's about we're not going it alone. We don't need to go it alone. We have people that have done it, they know it, they're experienced, and they can guide you through these steps to arrive where Michael is, in that place of like, wow, I've got this, I nailed it, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, and of course there are going to be more ups and downs, right? We're always going to have something. There is always going to be a bend in the road. But to see you now so smiley, and I remember a week ago when you were like, and that phone call and all the things, right? And that's the beauty of community, because we're able to witness the changes in all of us. We're able to be excited and celebrate for each other. I'm excited for you, Michael. I'm excited to see that change in you. And I'm excited to hear of the success of the program. I think that that's something to celebrate and really, be excited for, because that's what it's all about. So thank you for your share. I appreciate that. Patricia.
Everyone knows how to stretch per day, so it's more than 24 hours. I would be very...
I love your commitment. Love your commitment, man. Love it. Patricia, let's hear from you.
Good morning, everybody. Karen, I want to thank you for this topic. It made me think really hard on what's going on with me, in that I am exactly opposite of what you've been talking about. With all my training that I had in the military, I had to learn not to have habits. Every time I get in my car and I go someplace, I have 5 different ways I can leave my house, and I go a different way each time.
Wow.
I never go to the same place twice in a row. I never pick up the same book or the same thing twice in a row. And I had to learn all this. So that became my major habit, is never having a habit. And
Wow.
now I'm having to learn, because of this, I'm having to learn to develop habits, like look at my calendar to make sure I don't miss something, and go check on this area so I can see what I'm doing, and so learning how to have a habit is just as hard as learning how to break a habit for me. So I may need some help with that. And I love this community too. I feel like I have a family that I can go to, and it's really nice, and the more we talk on here, the more you learn everybody, and it's just, I really enjoy it. So thank you.
I love all your shares. I heard the porta potty yesterday, and it was fabulous. Let me ask you real quick, because I do remember that you were a pilot in the Air Force. When you got in the Army, when you got onto the plane or aircraft that you're flying, didn't you have your routine? Like, I need to flip this switch on, switch that on, do this, like checking everything, There wasn't a like checklist that you went through to get everything?
True. It was. I flew helicopters, and I flew multi-engine turboprop airplanes. Wow. And you're right. We do have a checklist, a pre-flight and then a post-flight. We had to do that, So
Right.
you're correct, but I can't think of anything else that anytime that I was on my own, everything was different because I did that. Plus, I also worked in military intelligence. I flew for military intelligence and then I did some other stuff.
Good
So
lady.
we had, huh? Somebody
no,
said
no.
something. Oh, so it was a lot of fun, but it was different, you know, but you're right. That's a good, thank you for reminding me of that.
So it's
Because
so
I had that, I kept it in my leg and I would have to pull it out every time and go through each sheet and do it exactly. So yeah.
right. And when you arrive, and then maybe throughout your day, there are these habitual thoughts. That's kind of where I wanted to put the shine the light on today. Like which
Yeah.
habitual thoughts when you get in front of the computer, when you're doing the dishes, when you those ones that we're not actively choosing. They're not the, you know, we didn't put on that tune. We didn't choose, you know, that's so cool that you choose, you know, you have 5 different routes and you choose different one every time. That's really cool. I'm always like super efficient. Which one takes me faster to where I'm going? That's right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'll have to play around with that one to just go a different way randomly. But yeah, that, you know, just looking at those patterns that either lead us towards that goal in the end, or they're kind of steering us away and taking us the long road towards our destination. So that was a beautiful share. Thank you, Patricia. Rosa and Gaza.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Patricia, I said you're a very clever lady.
Oh, thank you.
Karen, interesting topic today, because yesterday I had 2 instances that were quite memorable. One was wearing my employee hat and one was wearing our business hat. So in my employee hat, hard time of year for the accounting industry at the moment because we're in the middle of a level 4 COVID lockdown. And we have a lot of clients who are small business people who are incredibly stressed and incredibly broke. And I had a client with a very emotional reaction to a set of accounts yesterday. And at first it rattled me. And then I went, you know what? You have a choice how you react to this. You can let it derail you for the day and everything goes snowball. Or you can go, actually, you've done what you can for that man. Don't get caught up in his emotional response. And I went, you know what? Probably a couple of weeks ago, although I knew that, I wouldn't have done that. And I thought, because we're doing this every day, it's making it prominent in my mind, and I remembered it and I did it. And then the second thing that happened was with Etsy. They closed our account. We just recently got it unsuspended, and now they've closed it again. First time, it was a major. This time it was, oh, they've closed our account. I need to contact them. I'll do that, get that done and move on. So 2 different responses to what would have happened a couple of weeks ago. Changing a habit.
I love it. I love it. And you having the wisdom to now see it. You're seeing it. You're seeing it in live. It's not like you're not telling me this happened and I acted this way. And then, you know, 2 days later or a week later, you debated or you deliberated. That was in the moment. In the moment, you were able to distance yourself from what was happening and choose the path that leads you towards where you're headed, which is this personal transformation, this growth that you're on. You know, you're being your best self in that moment because you had more work to do, a full day to lead. And then you also need to get on with, okay, let's just reestablish this Etsy account, right? It's just like, okay, another one to do. Let's just put it on and get it done. I love that. That's a fantastic share. Thanks. It's so great to hear from you.
Thank you, Karen.
Wonderful. Cynthia, love to hear
Hello,
from you.
everyone. You know, I just love you guys. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you all. And Karen, thank you so much. I am just, excuse me, amazed at how timely our discussions are. It seems like, and you know, I've been doing this for, a couple of months now. And it's just uncanny how I'll deal with an issue, particularly, you know, these struggles in changing our thoughts and our habits and patterns. And the very next day, we're talking about it here.
Yeah.
I think it's so wonderful because even in the application today, it's like, oh yeah, I know that, but you guys help me remember. You know, this is the beauty of being community because I have worked solo as an entrepreneur in the past, recent past. And, you know, that in itself is just so much harder because to get out of your own head, sometimes hard as you try, you know these things, but to get out of your own head. So thank you, everyone. I just so appreciate this every day, the repetition, as others have mentioned, and the fact that we're just reminded that it is a choice, but it's outside of our own heads. There's something different when it's outside of our own heads. Can anyone else relate to that? Maybe it's just me, but I just want to say thank you so much.
I love it. I love it, Cynthia. And that's, you're another transformation that we've kind of witnessed together as this community, and just seeing your growth and your path and how you're speaking today. I got chills when you were talking. So it's like, I think, you know, really, you had said a couple of things, and the two things that came to mind is, first, there is this synchronicity effect, you know, and we're creating a synergetic relationship, which is almost like a hive mind. We're relating to each other. You know, you're able to pick up on things that, you know, now today we're talking about, or tomorrow, or stuff like that. It happens a lot when you spend a lot of time together. You're just kind of vibing, is kind of a new word for that, on the same wavelength. You're just on that channel broadcasting, and everyone is able to pick it up. And it's exciting. It's exciting because it shows you exactly what you said. You're not alone. You're not alone. You have the community, you have the support. You know, we offer the guidance, we offer the help if you want to take it. And if not, you know, look at us, no matter what, we're in it to win it. We're in it to win it. We're in it to transform and to evolve and to take this to the next level. So yeah, I applaud each and every one of you for sharing today. That's fantastic. Does anybody else want to share today?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
It's really amazing how truly we all have symbiotic relationships with everything around us and each other, those that we choose in our circles, right? And who we choose to be in our circle is so important. Some people we can choose, and others, you know, they're part of what we have to learn to work with. But the symbiotic relationship of all of us together, we're not even in the same place, let alone time zone or anything else. It's just incredible, I think.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. You know, it's so easy to feel disconnected because we're in these little boxes, you know, in front of our computers, or doing our little tasks in our little world, and just living our life. And so it's so easy to feel disconnected from everything else. But really, the natural cycles of life, they're repetitious and they're connected. And we are all in this web of connectivity. We're all in relationship to each other. And it's so important to remember that. It's so important, you know, these natural cycles, they're going to come around again. We're going to have another chance and another chance. And just like, you know, the seasons, or the sunset and the sunrise. And, you know, it's just, and I think that makes it so exciting. It's exciting because we do it. Oh, it's not one and done. It's not one and done. We get another.
So good, Karen.
Another opportunity. So that's exciting.
Amen. So good. The sunset and sunrise. So good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to the sun. Elsie, let's hear from you. Beautiful background.
Yes. Oh, thank you. That's in Colorado.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So like the others, I also have this issues with eBay still. I've been saying this, you know, for like almost 3 weeks now, but you know, all I did was send them a formal letter, and that's all I can do right now because I've searched the internet for their phones and all of that, and like you cannot find anything about eBay. So finally I stumbled on their corporate address. So I did that. I just sent a letter and registered the letter and waiting for a response, but that did not stop me. You know, I said, well, I have other stores I can do. Amazon right now, I can do Etsy right now, so I give up. And after viewing that Cinderella, it even made it sense to me that with that Cinderella, you know, she never gave up her dreams. So that's all I have to do. So don't give up, just continue working. And I am so grateful for this LHS community. Everyone is so helpful. Thank you.
Yay, I love it. Look at you being brave, sticking with it, not getting, because you could have gotten exasperated, like, oh no, well, now I can't make excuses. Right now I can't do this, I can't do that. It's so easy to fall in that pattern of just making excuses why not to. He actually talks about that in that book. I'll put it in the chat if anybody's interested. And he talks about how, like, because of the way that that society is, we have a tendency to go, like, our brain has a tendency to go to the negative before it'll go to the positive. So we have to really retrain our mind to search for the positive. So thank you for sharing that. Rose, yay. Haven't heard from you in a while.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute here. I've got the keys around, so it's a bit noisy here. No, I just wanted a quick one. The same as Patricia, I feel this community amazing, and I keep talking about this group on Facebook, because when I see those posts, people, oh, I'm gonna give up, I just tell them, people, just go there every day. I don't know if they all can come in here every day. I don't know how it works, but to change the mindset and all, and different than most of you, it's almost 7 o'clock for me now. So I start my day dealing with Etsy. And then I've started Amazon and my own job and all this. And then I finish my day with you guys. And that's like, recharging for the end of my day, different than the beginning of the day. So no, it's just amazing. I just want to thank you and John and everybody here, really. I know some people don't say much, but we are all here together, and I really appreciate this group. And I'm trying to be here every day. Some days I can't, but I'll keep watching and watching. So thank you very much. That's all.
Thank you, Rose. And yeah, to acknowledge each and every one of our effort, right? Some of us, we have 3:15 a.m. Some of us are joining. I know Rosa and Gaza and Vicky that I acknowledged in the beginning, and others, and we have UK people, so around the globe, and making time for what matters to you. This matters. If you're able to see that personal transformation. And often I'll say it's not enough to be the right person in the right time. To be in the right place at the right time. You have to be the right person in the right place in the right time. And that's important to acknowledge. So this personal growth, this personal evolution matters a lot, and it will transform your business. So thank you for bringing that to our awareness. I think, Lisa, did you want to share? So you wrote in
Yes, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I can see that Michael's helped Elsie with a number for eBay, but I've got a suggestion in terms of the actual topic for today. I hope I'm not judging, but as older people, Elsie's got to realise that that businesses like eBay may not have bricks and mortar, write a letter to, make a phone call to situations for her to deal with, and bombarding them over and over with emails, which is what they ask you to do to deal with them, might be a change of pattern that we just have to accept.
Right. And I don't have any experience with eBay, so I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't have any either.
On eBay on occasion, but I don't really do a lot. My husband usually does a lot of eBay stuff. So
it's just I work in customer service, and I get people, especially older people, and I'm older myself, so don't think I'm being judged.
And I was going to say, we have spaces where we can talk about all the technical things and give the technical advice. So you can either come on early and ask all those questions, or stay even after. I know some people were joining, and then you can talk about all the
comment was just
technical
fact that a lot of the customer service don't have options of giving you a phone number, or giving you someone to talk to, giving people a situation that's not an email. And sometimes you just got to keep on plugging on with the email.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And anybody else want to share right here at the end, or we'll call it a wrap for today? I saw a lot of comments go in the chat, so thank you all for that. Wonderful. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just about, just kind of summarize, it's about really looking at ourselves throughout the day and observing those patterns, those repetitious patterns that just show up, and then we make those choices without even thinking, or we repeat those lines without even thinking about the price of that narrative, or what will come from that. And I hope you take that into your day and you're able to transform your thought patterns or your habits into those that serve your purpose, that serve your goal, that serve that direction that you're headed to. So thank you all for being here. We'll see you all tomorrow, Wednesday. We have the fabulous John leading the call tomorrow. So thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.